Overnight, waking up to news. Now they're saying at least 28 people have been killed in explosions across Brussels. Let's join in and see what this would be ABC. See what ABC is saying right now. That's an interesting part. That's part of what Trump has going, doesn't he? That there is we just don't trust anything. And I was watching a report over the weekend that talked about, okay, our security. The only thing we do trust. What is the one thing in America that we still trust? Because your schools, all of a sudden with Common Core, there's a distrust. Your politicians, there is a distrust. The security of the nation, with terrorism, there is a distrust. The banks and the financial institutions, there is a distrust. The one thing that we still trust is the military, and it's probably it. Everything else. Oh, how about your faith, your religious institutions? There is an issue there over the last 20 years. So, I mean, everything that you thought to be stable, that you could depend on, all of a sudden doesn't seem so stable anymore. And that may be a part of what's going on right now. Kind of interesting. But I wanted we're going to have maybe some really beautiful weather that's going to be coming this weekend for Easter weekend. As you know, we're going into Easter. I found this in the Syracuse paper. And it basically talks about 10 spring days that did not go so well or went really, really well for us. And it goes back to, this one is March of 1986. Tropical on Easter Sunday. Back in 1986, the temperature was 87 degrees.
Really?
At Hancock Airport. Now, this is a Syracuse story, so we were pretty close. Obviously, Syracuse's temperature not that much different than what we get, but sure. That's Easter Sunday, March 30th, 1986, 87 degrees. Wow. In May 4th, 1986, farmers report minor damage on fruit trees and plants after an unusual May frost. That same year, overnight lows fell into the mid-20s and even lower in the higher elevations on May 4th, 1986. So it was a year of extremes. Spring began in 1988 on March 21st. With record lows 2 days in a row. The temperature hit 0 March 21st and 5 above on the 22nd. And we remember that Valentine storm that was so bad. Mm-hmm. That lasted right in through March and right into April. It was like incredible snow.
Wow.
1990, April 28th, 1990. It was the earliest 90-degree day on record at that time. The warmest of the 12 runnings, they call it in Syracuse, the Mountain Goat Run, with temperatures reaching 92 degrees on April 28th, 1990. May 12th, 1996, 2.1 inches of snow on Mother's Day. March 31st, 1998. March went out like a lamb in 1998, with the temperature rising to 85 degrees, which shattered their 77-degree high at Hancock Airport at that time in 1998. June 14th, 2002, heavy rain. Heavy rain. 3 inches of rain fell throughout central New York. April 6th, 2007, lake-effect snow totaled more than a foot in central New York. 6 inches to a foot, depending on where you're located. April 27th, 2009, the record for the earliest 90-degree, this is 2009, remember this? Just a few years back. The earliest 90-degree day was on April 27th at that time. But I think we broke that in 2012. April 16, 2012, the record for that date was earlier and later in April at 90 degrees, but it climbed to 90 degrees on April 16th. And there were a few March days that got into the 80s a few years back. So we had these weird extremes. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's not all that abnormal. We're not going to see any great extremes now, although Rachel Witter, the meteorologist, is saying that things could end up warming up by Thursday, depending on what happens with the way this front comes through. But they're looking at temperatures in the 50s now. Could go into the 60s. We'll see what happens. Currently, we're at 24 degrees. Here's Christine Bellino with the latest. Good morning, Christine.
Good